Alright folks, how's it going? Last video here, I'm going to do pros and cons of each of these detectors. The Minelab SDC 2300 and the Garrett ATX here. I love both of them really, man. They're awesome. But you know, they got little quirks, as most detectors do. So I got them on my phone here. I wanted to write them down so I won't forget them. So we'll start with pros and cons. ATX first. The pros. It's a great package for great price, man. All-round package. You get 3 coils with this thing. It's a multiple frequency, multiple channel frequency detector, kind of like the GPX. It's a compact design, of course. The other one has that too. The pros and cons of these. That's a great part. Put them in a backpack. This is very sensitive to small gold. With all the coils, actually. The big coil, you'll get a 0.3 gram nugget. With the 8-inch and the stock double D, you'll get a 0.08. Alright, it's stable, even at max sensitivity. Very stable machine. Handles hard dirt very well. It's lighter than the Minelab with the 8-inch coil. 8-inch coil to 8-inch coil. This one swings better. A lot better. The toe, it's toe heavy on the Minelab, the SDC 2300. This one is toe heavy, feels toe heavy. When you swing it, a little heavy on the toe. This thing is really light on the toe with this coil. The stock double D is a little heavier, of course. Waterproof, that's another plus. External speaker, that's a plus. Arm strap is very comfortable getting in and out of this thing. It's not a problem at all. It's a very deep detector. Non-motion mode, you get that mode, goes even deeper. Easy to operate versus the GPX series. It's the most versatile, great for nuggets, beach, surf, and relics. Okay, those are the pros for the ATX. Okay, we'll do the pros for the Minelab, and then we'll get on with the cons. I'm sure you guys are interested in that. Right? Alright, pros, small package, smaller package than the ATX. Actually, look at that. I put both of them in a backpack and hiked them in one backpack. Small display, very tiny display on this thing. Unbelievably small for a Minelab. It's very, very sensitive to small sub 0.1 gram nuggets. Smallest I detected was a 0.035. I think Steve Hirschbach or what's that guy's name? Reno Chris. He actually detected one out in the field. Man, I think it's a 0.045 or something like that. Actually found one. Very aggressive ground balance circuit. Automatically adjust all the time. This thing, all the time. Adjusting, you don't have to do anything. Well, you can ground balance it. It does have a button where you can manually ground balance it. Occasionally I did that. It handles hot dirt very well. Better on hot rocks than the ATX. ATX will pick up a few more hot rocks than this thing. This thing will kind of bounce them out. But then you can bounce out a target too. I have shown that on my videos where you keep swinging the new Minelab here and it'll slowly kind of dissipate the target. Unless you do it once or twice and you start digging it. But if you keep trying to figure out what it is, it might track it out a little bit. It'll be less strong of a target. It handles changing ground better than the ATX only because it tracks all the time. Alright, you got to manually ground balance it. So if you go from like this bedrock here is 81, you go to the dirt over here, it's 70. So it's going to make a sound on the ATX. It's a 10-point change. The ATX is going to sound off on it. You got to pump it, ground balance it. No big deal. It takes 5 seconds. But this thing will just go right over it. One small wisp while it tracks, and then you're done. So just a little more manual adjustments on the ATX. Let's see, where was I? It's the easiest Minelab ever to operate. Very simple. I can't believe it's a Minelab because it's so simple. Theirs is usually more complicated. Very simple machine to use. External speaker on this also. Waterproof also. Stable when bumping the coil. Very stable when bumping this 8-inch coil here. The Garrett, we'll get on to the cons on that in a minute. Deep detecting. Both of these are very deep detecting for 8-inch monos. They go very deep. ATX has slight advantage on bigger, deeper targets with the same 8-inch mono. Just a little bit. Inch, inch and a half, maybe 2, usually inch, inch and a half range on gram and up targets. But really not noticeable if you're on your game with headphones. Alright, let's get on with the cons. Start with the ATX here. The cons on the ATX, a bit heavy with the stock coil. It's not heavy at all with this coil. This actually swings lighter than that detector. It feels lighter. I'm not kidding you. The stock coil, a little heavy. You know, I don't mind it, but some people seem to don't like it. It loses a bit of depth and sensitivity the higher it ground balances. All PIs are kind of like that, but this is a manual ground balance. It keeps going, you know, if you're really hot grounded, it takes some of the power away and takes some of the sensitivity. TDI is the same way. The Minelabs are like that to a certain extent. You know, this one includes the GPX, but they have that automatic tracking circuit, and they just seem to handle hot ground better. You don't lose as much depth, but they are a PI, and it does lose depth with ground balancing, hotter ground. Especially the GPX, you switch those, come to those really, really hot settings, and it's made for really hot ground, but you're going to lose depth. So all PIs are pretty much like that. So it's not really a con against ATX, it's kind of all PIs are like that. The 8-inch mono noise, let's address that. This thing, it's really noisy for some reason when you bump it. And barely, I mean, you bump your foot, you bump a blade of grass, well, a few blades of grass. It's a pretty noisy coil. Garrett's going to work on it. They told me they're working on it. I don't know what they're going to do to it. It helps to have a coil cover. That would probably help a little bit. I have tape on mine because I don't want to mess up my coil. But it's definitely noticeable. You know, this coil is pretty noisy compared to the 8-inch mono on here. I don't know why. You bump this, you bump that, it goes off. You touch the ground, it goes off. You know, other than that, it's pretty stable if you don't touch anything. You know, but you're kind of put you in a situation to go slow. Be careful. This thing will just bang around really. That's pretty much it on the ATX cons. Other than that, I love it. Cons with the new Minelab SDC 2300. The price sucks. $3,750. But it's a Minelab, right? You got to pay another $1,000 for the name. It only comes with one coil. That kind of stinks. It'd be nice to have a bigger coil of this thing. Let's see. There's something I found on it. I'll call the hole. Like when you detect, and this detector picks it up, this one will be a little weaker on a certain target. And let me read what I wrote here. It's a single channel, single frequency detectors have this problem. The TDI is the same way. You ground balance it, and you can actually ground balance out a large piece of lead or gold in the 60 to 67 range. And this I showed this on a couple of my videos, part 3 and 4 I think it was, where it was not very good on a certain nugget, and that nugget rang up in the 63 I think on my AT Gold. So it's very common with single frequency, single channel detectors. I don't know what Minelab tells you what it is, but that's what it is. I call it a hole. So it's just less strong of a signal when another detector like this one would pick it up really strong. So that's a hole in it. It's really not noticeable. It really depends on the ground balance, how this thing's ground balancing and where it's ground balancing. You could be in Texas or Georgia somewhere and it ground balance is different, and the hole might jump around to different conductivity numbers, you know. So anyway, I call it the hole. There's a little hole in these things. That's kind of a big con, but like that, if you watch my other videos, you'll see that you could possibly miss a 1 gram nugget with the hole and up, different sizes. All right, let's move on. Oh, it goes crazy at times for no reason out in the field. This one, I was out with it 8 hours one day, and all of a sudden it just goes crazy. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and it's and I hit the ground, and it sounds like it's a target, but it just goes berserko. And I just kind of stopped and waited for it to go away. It could be cell towers, but the ATX wasn't doing the same thing in the same area. Now, occasionally it would do the same thing, shorter, but I guess it's the way pulse inductions are. Sometimes you'll have a cell tower flicker and go crazy. One guy turned on his, he was with me, turned on a pinpointer. I forget what kind, I think it was a White's pinpointer or something. I forget what it was. This thing started going crazy, and he was about 5 feet away from me. And that was one of the noises. So occasionally it goes berserko. I don't know why. Let's see. It's not as stable as the ATX on max sensitivity. This one's not. On 5 sensitivity, it's a little floppy flippy. Just kind of constantly making noise, especially in really hot dirt that's really changing. When the ground balance is tracking, you'll have these little wisps as it keeps tracking. Now the ATX will just go over it, and if the ground is different, it'll just sound off, and you got to re-ground balance it. So they both have their little quirks as far as really hot dirt. But overall, I think the ATX on max sensitivity is a little more stable than this on 5, from what I've seen so far. It's not quite as deep as the ATX on bigger, deeper items. Did I already read that? But not by much. I think I already went over that. A bit toe heavy compared to the ATX with 8-inch model. I went over that. It's a definitely different weight. It's definitely noticeable after like 6 hours of hunting, that's for sure. The arm strap is kind of a pain in the butt on this thing. It grabs your arm. Getting in and out of it, it kind of grabs your arm. It's really kind of annoys you after 5-6 hours. It really annoys you after 5. This thing just slides in and out. So it's a little quirk of mine. It's just harder to get in and out of this machine. And again, the very last cons for the new Minelab, the price sucks. I think I already went over that. $37.50. All right, there you go. I think that's my whole list there. But put it this way, I love both these detectors. These are awesome. You put both of them in the same backpack and take off. This one just a hair more sensitive, 0.08 nuggets and up. The ATX will get, this will get like 0.35 and up. Just a little difference, but there is a difference. You know, you're looking at VLF size tiny little nuggets with this and that, but this will get even smaller in hot dirt. You know, VLF is useless in hot dirt. You know, I put a 0.3 in hot dirt, 0.4 gram nugget, which is pretty big. VLF won't even touch it. I mean, these things, both of these will get it. So there you go, folks. These are both fantastic machines. This is my favorite Minelab they've ever built. Love this machine. This is my go-to detector right here, the ATX. And that's it. I'm about to move down to California for the winter. You can see the weather's already changing, so about a week and a half I'm out of here. Down to LA area and do some detecting down there. So you guys take care. See you on the next video. Thanks for watching.